Welcome, everybody. We have an amazing mastermind or a roundtable mastermind happening today. And again, the very first one we did for this event was extremely powerful. There's something about getting these 2-minute answers from each speaker that just like boom, 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 boom. And it just feels so amazing. And Tanya's not bobbing her head. She was there. She knows what it's like. It was I know she was shifted by it. It was really helpful and powerful. So I know myself, I was like, wow, it's hit me too. And all the speakers too. You guys are up for an upgrade today too. Trust me, it's going to be more than what you realize. So I'm really looking forward to that. And the audience, you guys just feel free to participate at any time as we're going through this. We have 3 targeted questions for the speakers to answer. They're all going to respond for 2 to 3 minutes each round. And you're just going to get, instead of the longer bites that you get like on my podcast, which are great too, you're going to get these like all these little truth bombs like crazy, and it's going to help you so much. Like certain things are just going to just pop you open. Like probably everything that's said is going to just pop you open to another level, because that's how the first one felt like for me. So I'm so excited everybody's together. We're going to get started by introducing everybody to you and then get into it. By the way, stick to the end. There's a couple of things happening at the end. First of all, I know there's going to be some light frequency or whatever type of transmission type of things at the end of this whole thing, probably throughout at some level. And then also there is a bonus section with me at the end where I'll do some energy scanning if people want that, and also some channel prayer to wrap up this whole event today. So as far as the live portion of it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to pick people out because it's just time efficient. So we're going to go ahead and get started with introductions, 1 minute each. Jenny Lee, let's hear from Jenny Lee.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Really happy to be here. Thank you, Daniel, for the invitation. Love to see everyone's faces. I am calling in from Hawaii. I am an author of 3 books. The titles are True Yoga, Breathing Love, and Spark Change. I've worked in the yoga philosophy space for the last 26 years as a coach, and really helping people to understand their true nature as beautiful spiritual light beings, and how we can manifest more of what that means in our physical daily lives. So I'm excited to share this time with you.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Jenny. Jenny is really a lovely presence, number one. Let's just admit it. It's very lovely, beautiful, and she has a wonderful book, too. I'm plugging real quick, but Spark Change, and I really love it. I got it up prominently in my office. She's got incredible wisdom to share with you today and always. So let's go to Angel next.
All right. I will echo Jenny. Thank you so much for having us, Daniel. It's always a pleasure to be on your platform. Daniel and I have known one another for almost 2 decades, and he was one of the very first people years and years ago to give me a platform to speak my message. So I want to say thank you for that. I've changed my name twice since then, and I'm evolution in action is what I will say about that. And what I am doing right now is I'm actually hired to support conscious change agents all over the world who are really called to convert their wisdom into wealth and to set up sustainable business models so that they can create great impact and incredible income. And my client roster worldwide has generated in excess of $100 million, but they've made enormous impact across every single sector. I'm also the executive producer and host of 2 award-winning podcasts, the 14-time award-winning Wickedly Smart Women and the 3-time award-winning Leading Visionaries podcast. And I'm just honored and pleased to be here and look forward to connecting to all of you today.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, I remember that. First time I called you on a phone, I think you were driving or something. You're like, I'm just about home. I don't know if you remember that moment, but I remember that very clearly, vividly. And yeah, it's been magic. We've had a lot of magic moments and connections, met each other in person a number of times over the years as well. So yeah, it's been an incredible journey, and Angel's super powerful. I've received some of her work privately as well. So you just can't go wrong. Angel is really potent. So I'm grateful you're here. All right, let's go to Jonathan next.
Hey, Daniel, great to be here. I've known you for a year and I really appreciate your support. So I'm currently based in Costa Rica and I'm a soul mentor. I help people work with people one-on-one. I have a platform. I'm an entrepreneur, a speaker, a consultant. And what I specialize actually is psycho-spiritual stacking. I'm a master synthesizer, and I really focus on new earth leaders who want to build the new systems and culture and making a lot of money and having a lot of fun doing so. So just to really contextualize my work, I really focus on three areas, which I talk to my one-on-one with. I help people raise their energy. I use it with chi or temporary like psychedelics to help or altered states to help them get new insights, or epi-energetics, which is the ecological use of energy and information. I help people master their mind, and I help people with meditation. I've studied Vajrayana Buddhism. And then the last one is I help people align with the patterns of the universe, help them know their own personal archetypes, help them work with the metaphysics. I'm a student of Ken Wilber and integral theory. And lastly, the process of change. And my background's in change management. And I've been doing this stuff for over 30 years. And I'm excited to be here.
Wow. Yeah, Jonathan, I'm so grateful you're a part of this, and you've got such creativity, intellect, and you're just such a fun energy too. So I really appreciate you, and thank you for being here, brother.
Thanks.
All right, so let's go ahead and go to Susan next.
Hi, Daniel. Hi, everybody. You can tell from my accent that I'm actually from the UK, but I work internationally as a speaker. I am an author of 2 books. The first one, Awaken the Light Within Your Heart, and the second one, The Guardian Wings, which is my children's book, which came out last year. Really excited about that. I'm known as a spiritual scientist. And the reason why I'm known as a spiritual scientist is because I'm scientifically trained. So in psychology, psychotherapy, neuropsychology, and so on. But I'm also a galactic channel. So I work with the Ascended Masters. I'm a medium. I can see into the body. My guides are talking to me all the time. So you'll get me asking questions like that. And essentially, I help people to align to their true mission. So I feel my mission is to help you align to truly why you're here. And I find that when we align to why we're here, we're living our joy, as we're all speaking about. We're living our joy, and abundance flows when you live your joy and you live your heart's desire and truly why you're here. Your whole life transforms and abundance flows, and you start to live the remarkable life that you were meant to live.
Absolutely. Thank you, Susan. Susan's, yeah, we've definitely been mixing up the energies in fun, joyful ways, including all these people have been on my podcast, by the way, guys. Spiritual Rockstar podcast, which I'm the host of. I'll tell more about myself later, but she is magical in her capacity to connect and to transmit and to bring the galactics and all the rest through. And you'll also get experience of that too through her interview. We did do a pre-recorded interview with her, and check out the interviews too of these speakers. One of them, like, I gotta check this person out, check them out. All right, so let's go to Jennifer next. So Jennifer, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. And Susan, no wonder I resonated with you when we first met just now. I run around the world assisting people to answer the question, especially visionary leaders, to answer the question, what's the greatest thing I can do with the skills that I have, such that I can wake up inspired every morning and go to bed knowing that I did what I came to the planet for. And in assisting people to be able to do that, we use the laws of physics. I am a holographic seer. And what I do is I work with a very similar family to Susan, actually. And my job really is to empower visionary leaders to bring the thing that gives them that sense of urgency to life. And I work a lot with engineers and a lot with doctors and those kinds of people that have brains that have the science of it all in the background. And so that's why I have such a passion for that. And I am the author of 8 books. The latest one is Unstuck: The Physics of Getting Out of Your Own Way. And we just launched our podcast again. We used to do a podcast many years ago. We just launched a podcast called The Thriving Life with Jennifer Huff. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you got all kinds of things going on. I know you did a IG live with Lewis Howe as well.
Tonight.
Or that's tonight too, as
Yeah.
it turned out. Okay. Wow, you got a lot going on there. But yeah, so I know Jennifer's been on many platforms as well as other speakers here, but like she's really awesome. And Jennifer, just on a personal level, you just have a way of putting everybody at ease. You're just like, yeah, you're great, everything's awesome. You got that vibe, and I appreciate that about you and the wisdom you have to share. Check out her interview. Hers is amazing as well. And Jenny, Jonathan, I know we got an interview from Angels. She's efficient. She'll get everything you need today, but then you got to go check her out. Got to go deeper with her. She's got podcasts galore that are blow up through the roof with awards. So every day there's a new award. It feels like she has so much going on. So anyway, check her out further. All right, everybody, you're all amazing. So what I do is I help healers to unleash that intuitive psychic and healing and sales power they have to manifest 6 figures or more in 6 months or less. And it's my great pleasure to do that. I'm known as the energy scan training guy, the energy scan guy. So I also offer those to healers around the world and have trained hundreds of people. I've impacted thousands of healers. And also, I'm the host of the Spiritual Rockstar podcast. And we also are a top ranked podcast out there. And it's such a joy to serve these amazing light leaders that are out here doing all this work alongside me. As I see them as colleagues and friends and everything. And I'm just like, yes, let's keep it going. And so right now, today, with the opportunity is that we have the opportunity to really ask some questions of all these amazing beings, and for us to tune into our own truth too, as we're listening in and get calibrated to truth when there is so much going on, right, in the world. All day long, you hear all this stuff. Orange man bad, he's coming in. What are we going to do now? Or whatever the narrative is each day, right? So literally, one of my clients said, Orange man's going to be in on Monday and all this stuff. And they're like with that attitude of, okay, that's how you feel. It's okay. However people feel, it's fine. But what are we doing with the energy that's coming up? If you're being stirred by something, are we using that to boost ourselves and take us into a next level? That's what this whole thing's about with AI, the political stuff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we'll get into it with the questions here today. I managed to knock my questions out, but I have them in another place. So I apologize about that. But let's get right into it, guys. Again, I'm going to ask each of you this question now, so pay attention. All right. So here's the question. Given the environment with what's going on politically in the world overall, AI and so many conversations, wildfires, except fires, whatever they are. Oh my goodness, I feel so much for that, but it's crazy. So given the current environment, what's going on politically and in the world overall, what is the big opportunity right now for people to become a spiritual rock star in 2025? Okay. So I'll go in order to start with. We'll go to Jenny. So I'd love to hear what you've got to share.
I just think about when I used to own a yoga studio and people would come in and sometimes they'd be really intimidated and they'd say, I don't think I can do yoga. I'm not flexible. And my answer to them was always, you don't have to be flexible to do yoga. You do yoga to become flexible. And so to me, the opportunity, we don't need to be intimidated by what's happening in the world. There's always been crap happening in the world throughout history. And it's just one version or another of disharmony and disconnect. And so the opportunity is to realize that we don't have to know what to do so much as we have to have the heart and the willingness to show up to each moment and be guided to what that moment is asking. And Daniel did send us these questions ahead of time. I intentionally didn't prepare my answer because I wanted it to come through spontaneously. And this is how I work with clients. It's how I operate in my life. I trust that intuitive connection that I have with spirit through daily practice of meditation that guides me in every interaction. And so in every moment, there is an opportunity to, like Daniel calls it, become that spiritual rock star, which to me is really that highest and best version of ourself, the kindest, the most loving, the most understanding, the most compassionate, the most unifying version of ourself, setting aside our biases, our filters to meet whoever is in front of us and whatever is happening with the greatest grace and the greatest compassion that we can. And I think in that way, we make huge impact.
100%. Oh my God, I love that. I love that. That's why I would say I'm all about that. My little judging mind is around, but it lurks, right? But at the same time, I'm always returning to love, right? Just continue to return to that love and compassion for myself and others. And so it's amazing. So thank you for sharing. Let's go to Angel.
So I'm also a channel and a speaker in the now, and I didn't look at the questions either beforehand. What is coming in this moment is, in order to become a spiritual rock star in 2025 and beyond, because it's not just about this year, it's about really evolving into that spiritual rock star and embodying it for the long haul. It's very important for people in general, and certainly those who are drawn to something like this, to begin to reevaluate and reset their primary connections. And what I'm being shown right now is so many of us, our attachments are to our stuff or to our relationships or to our car, our house, where we live, all of those things. And we were trained that way. We were conditioned that way to create those kinds of attachments. But in order to really become a spiritual rock star, all of those attachments have to be released in favor of fostering the primary attachment between ourselves and the earth, and ourselves and our source. And whether our source is from a star system, or whether it's the sun, or whether it's God or universe, or whatever you want to call it, those two primary connections are going to be paramount moving forward from here, so that we can stay centered in that presence and stay sourced in that presence of that which nourishes us and that which inspires us. And in doing that, we become radiant beings. We become able to lead from a place of being filled with a source energy, rather than leading from a place of some other mentality or structure that we've been taught, that we're literally leading like a North Star because we're so radiant.
Yes, so it is. I love that you brought in there's a lot of star energy, all right? Stars and rock stars, and we got sticks and all kinds of star stuff going on in this call today. So if that resonates for you guys, you're really in the right place. And if it doesn't, you just haven't awoken up as the star seed you are, likely. It's my first guess. But anyway, I'm really grateful the way you answered that. Yeah, it's just honestly, it's beyond anything I could articulate back. All I'm doing is taking in your frequency more than your words. I'm just like, but thank you. That's what Angel does. Okay, let's go to Jonathan.
This is a great time. 2025 is an epic year to be a spiritual rock star. I got 4 talking points that just came to me. So first one, we got a new president, Donald Trump. He's more libertarian. Now, why is that great for spiritual rock stars? Because it's saying humans, people, it's time for us to grow up and take radical responsibility for our lives. Move away from the dependence on the government. Spiritual rock stars are people who uplift their spirit, help them find their passions, help them understand the science of spirituality so that they can work with the higher energies and be more themselves. So what a great political environment for spiritual rock stars. Let's talk about technology, AI. We've got the web. There are cool ideas everywhere. It's never been easier to create your own, be an entrepreneur. AI and the web make everything so much easier, and you can outsource it. You can hire people in all other parts of the world for the things you don't want to do. And there's so much information for us to get more energy, biohacking, different kinds of ways of getting our being up higher so that we can meet the demands. So while there is a lot of challenge and chaos, there's also a lot of new tools for us to meet the moment. So that's really exciting. The third one is spiritual rock stars. A lot of people are in the chaos and they're not feeling good about that. So they're open to new ideas. And a lot of spiritual rock stars are carrying that they're on the bleeding edge of things. And now people are like, they're dissatisfied with the status quo. And so people are now open to these new ideas that maybe they thought were woo or nonsense, but then thare seeing that these people are awesome. The rock stars are the ones thriving these troubled times, and they're coming to us. And so we can give them the compassion and give them the new tools and the new ideas. And the last one is something that I'm really passionate about. That I know when people are stuck, there's a lot of stuckness, a lot of stuck like polarity, and altered states are becoming more popular. And we're learning more and more safe ways. Different psychedelics are getting legalized, but then people are even having different technologies. You don't even have to take an entheogen. You can get like different lucid lights flashing at you, harmonic eggs, breath work. And so this is a real opportunity to shake up our old ideas, get to a higher frequency, higher energy, see the world from new lens. This is an opportunity for the species to really just take off. So I'm seeing this chaos is a great thing. So I'm excited.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's where change is, in a sense of chaos. The more the sense of chaos, sometimes the greater the potential. Almost always the potential is more accessible, right? As long as you lean into it, right? If you resist it, you're like, no, I don't want things to change. I don't like what I see. And you're definitely going to stay stuck. So I love that. And I love, like you pointed out, AI is our friend, hallucinogenics are our friend, or whatever, like psychedelics or whatever, all that stuff. So yeah, all the opportunities are incredible. And we got so many opportunities that we had no idea about before. So phenomenal. Thank you, Jonathan. All right, let's go to Susan then.
I too didn't look at the questions for the obvious reasons, and I'm really glad I didn't. I'd like to speak about this. I think what the guides really want to bring across here is that we're going through an incredible shift in consciousness. And so the way that I'd like to explain it from this perspective is we are stepping from the old earth into the new earth. And that doesn't mean like one day we're in a old earth and the next day we're in the new. What's happening is we're starting to see where we are triggered. So if we think about what's just happened with the fires and so on, and we think about disaster in the world, it's always been there and it always will be there at the moment in this time that we're going through. But it's how we feel about that. And that doesn't mean that we don't have compassion for anybody in any situation or any animal indeed, but we look at, is this something that we get really triggered by? And there's no judgment with this, by the way. But essentially, when we're looking at that as a spiritual rock star, as Jonathan was saying, essentially, when we're living in our authentic truth of who we are, and as Angel said as well, we're coming in that place of the source within. When we remember that we are the source within, this is a jacket, right? So this is like our jacket that's carrying our soul. Our soul knows exactly why we're here and what we're meant to do and who we're meant to meet. And we also know that our body is the barometer for our soul whilst we're here. When we know that, when we remember that in an embodied way, there is nothing to fear. So as there's nothing to fear, we're stepping away from the old earth, which I believe, and the guides work with this all the time, is the frequency of fear and shame and guilt and abandonment and all this kind of stuff. And blame is a big one. And we're stepping into, as Jonathan said, taking responsibility for actually our own experience. So as we start to look at these situations, if we do feel a trigger for something, whether it's someone on the street or a terrible disaster like the fires, it's our job and our responsibility, because we are our own inner healers, to actually look at that and take that beautiful experience to be able to heal that part of us, which allows us to bring more light into our field. And we could imagine behind my screen, if you imagine that light, imagine that amount of light within you. You're sparkling out in the world. So therefore your mirror goes out, the mirror comes back as a reflection. So as you are stepping from the old earth, you're stepping away from those old heavy vibrations and stepping into the new. So I believe, looking at the political side and looking at what's happening in the world, really, it doesn't matter what it is. It's how we actually respond to these situations.
Right. How
This
we
is what I feel strongly. And then the opportunity is just incredible. The guides call it ascension and everything. We can call it whatever we want. But we've got amazing opportunities right now to step fully into our power. And I think,
Amen, Susan, you
I
got
know.
it. You got
And
it.
the timelines
So
are
it is. Amen.
and it's
So it
fun.
is. Absolutely. That's
And
it.
the
It's
one
done.
key thing I just want
It's
to
done.
say
We
as
have
I
to move on.
close,
Susan, we have to move on, though. We have to move on. So we have to move on.
just that the
So,
guides are
yeah.
helping you at all time.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're building one after another. That's what's so cool about how this works is like she referenced Jonathan, right? So it's like we're stacking and stacking. We're building this momentum. And so I really appreciate that. Was so beautiful what you shared. There's so much, we can feel your energy. We can feel what's coming through you. And it just helps us just step into that lightness inside of ourselves. It feels so good, right? I can feel that happening for others too. Jennifer, I'd love to hear from you next.
Yeah, much like everyone has reiterated, I'm just going to join the club of I did not read the questions. So just, and what I want to say is that we're all coming to a place where these innate abilities, these superpowers are coming to the forefront because they're necessary in order to live in times of great change. And those superpowers, including being we've all, probably everyone here would say that they bring through information or they channel, they receive. But I would also say that everyone that's listening right now also does the same, whether you know it or not. And that's because the time for gurus is being transcended. This is no longer the time to hold someone else up as some bastion of spiritual ascension, because truly we are all each responsible for our own connection to, as everyone has said, the divine. Where I'm inspired to take this is down the road of the idea that falling in love with the unknown transcends the need for courage. I'm going to say it again. Falling in love with the unknown transcends the need for courage. And it is through those superpowers that you can fall in love with the unknown more, because it's the superpowers that allow you to live in the space between the atoms. It's those superpowers that allow us to be able to access that which hasn't come into form yet. And when we can play in that realm, these times of great change, since the laws of physics say whenever there is contrast, instantaneously there must be multiple solutions to that contrast. So you're either playing the game of how do I control things and stay safe from the amygdala, which that whole karmic time is being blown away, or you're really curious on the adventure into the unknown of that which hasn't landed yet, but about the solutions that have been birthed from the contrast. And so as we come into mastery of those superpowers, we're able to play, and really we don't even consider fear. It starts to be this incredible playground of possibility from a place of presence in wisdom. And presence in wisdom, wisdom with presence, is how we literally access that space between the atoms where the future possibilities are. Direct answer, become a spiritual rock star. To me, what it looks like is being in presence with wisdom such that we can play with, go on the adventure of, and co-create with each other from that place, and that our differences become the power rather than the place where we divide.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's so great. Just pointing again, like with the frequency, guys, is so important that's flowing here. And then just that the possibilities, right? Just with this possibilities being the superpower and the ability to recognize those possibilities. I really love that. That really stood out to me as one of the things that popped in what you said. I'm like, ooh, yeah, the possibilities. Just imagine just embodying and playing with more possibilities in these times. What else is possible? If that's possible, what else is possible that you would, what is it guiding you into? Thank you. Okay, so let's go back through. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next question here. And we've got a really amazing question coming up to help everybody with their gifts. I'm going to ask everybody this question. So, how can people go about identifying and embracing their deeper divine gifts during these times? How can people go about identifying and embracing their deeper divine gifts during these times? I'll go ahead and start again with Jennifer. We're going to go back through and start with Jennifer again.
That is me. We're going backwards. That's fun.
Yeah.
So how can people go about identifying and embracing their deeper divine gifts during these times? Again, I'm going to start with where I ended, which is that presence with wisdom. But how do we listen? We could say gifts, but already every single human being has at least 12 strands of DNA, most of which they haven't even accessed. We have human superpowers that aren't even superpowers. They're normals. They're not even super. It's just that we haven't used them. And when in our work, we go into that multidimensional DNA that offers the tools to actually embody those gifts, but they're not gifts. They're innate to every human being. So oftentimes when we look at people, we differentiate ourselves with respect to our gifts. I would say that I'm going to language that differently and say that we all have natural propensities. And it's because of our past lives that we're well practiced at that give us those natural propensities. And that's what someone would call a gift. But those natural propensities make us an instrument in the symphony of life. And that specific instrument, when it harmonizes with all the other instruments, the interest would no longer be in the gifts. If we can all come into that place where we understand ourselves as a symphony, rather than it's about me, not that it doesn't matter that you're a you. What matters is the instrument in its playing harmonizes with the whole. And in that harmony, an exponential result is available for all of humanity that you absolutely, as a visionary, whether you knew it or not, have the capacity to activate the future possibility of humanity. There is nothing, that's what we all came here for. We're here in times of great change. Consciousness knew it, all that is knew it, whatever you call God knew it. And you got to know how spectacular you must be. So making yourself available for those innate abilities just requires a willingness to be an instrument in that symphony and know that a dream is dreaming you that has been wanting to, that sense of urgency that we have inside, that's the dream that's dreaming you. And as you are willing to engage that, your superpowers, as you activate that future of who you are, the dream that's dreaming you, as you are willing to see it and be available to it, those superpowers, not really, those gifts will become more available because necessity is the motherhood of invention.
Yes,
So
absolutely. So it is. Yeah, absolutely. We're awakening that we're so much more. You talked about the 12 strands of DNA, and we're probably even more than that, right? They're always discovering more.
now
Right?
there are, way
Right,
more,
yeah.
way more.
Like there's so much, right? No, there's 12. No, there's 12 billion. There's whatever it is. I
Yeah.
don't know, but I'm just saying, like they just, oh wow, we looked into it. There's even more available. You rarely hear when they go deeper into this stuff. There's less. We're finding less. Like
Those are the foundational ones, right?
Yeah,
Those are the
yeah,
ones
yeah.
that we came with. And then after that, we
Yeah.
just created infinite
So there's
numbers.
just so much. We're infinite. I would say we're infinite power, infinite possibilities, or all that stuff, infinite intelligence. Thank you for that, sharing that. Okay, awesome. So Susan, I'd love to hear you especially this one. This is right up your alley.
It's right up my street. Absolutely. So I feel that the most important thing about this is that when we are remembering who we are, then we're following our joy. And what I feel is really important is that, and I tell this to my teenagers, is what lights you up. So the question is, what lights you up? And if something lights you up, it's probably aligned to your path, which means it's probably, very surely, aligned to why you're here. And if something doesn't feel a match, then it's probably not aligned to your frequency of your soul. And so that's a really good indicator. So if somebody's in a relationship that they feel they're not happy in, it's probably outdone now, and especially with the times changing. In fact, on the 21st, we have a lineup of 6 planets. Okay. And on the 22nd, we have the Venus star point. This is an amazing, miraculous week next week. So this is an amazing time for us to really feel into what is lighting me up in my life. Am I living my true heart's desire? That is where you can follow your gifts. And then what opens up, as well as Jennifer was saying, is that we are multidimensional beings. And so we've been there, done it, worn the t-shirt and made the film. And so we have this within us. So we have everything within us that we've chosen to bring to this time to light up the world. And as we light up ourselves, each person feels that energy. As you're talking about, Daniel, you can feel the energy. As we're all here today, all the guests and the speakers, all of us hold an energy. And so what's happening is, as we're lit up, as we step into our power, as we step into our light and into our joy and our happiness, we light up the planet. And I feel that this is a fantastic time for people to truly align to that.
Awesome. Thank you, Susan. I don't know what I see these comments popping in. I'm getting this vision of dolphin energies coming into my field. I don't know if I saw someone say dolphins, I think, in here or something, but yeah, Grace, I think it was. Yeah. So that's just so fun. And what lightens you up? That's such a foundational thing. And these divine gifts, it's like sometimes we think we've got to be on psychedelics or something to open up, but we just what lightens you up, and it doesn't have to be what you think is something extraordinary. It's probably something like breathing for you to do. So it's usually easy too. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, let's go over to Jonathan next.
All right, I'm going to get real practical, and I'm going to break it down into my kind of 3 specialties. So first, I'm going to talk about mastering your mind. It's about focus. What we can control is our observer and what we focus our attention on. There's a lot of chaos out there. I wouldn't spend that much time on it. If you don't have any direct influence over the fires in California, I don't know how great spending a lot of time is. Certainly, I feel bad for all those people, but you want to be an active agent out there. So pay attention. If you're looking to figure out your gifts, then set time aside every day to work on this. And also, if you've noticed that you have any anxiety or doubt that's in it, one of the great meditation tools is to know that you're just the witness. And as Robert Keegan, Harvard psychologist, says, make subject object. Make the fear or the anxiety, whatever you're feeling, the guilt, the shame, an object. And if you're still feeling strongly, it means that you're at a certain frequency, at a certain energy level. So I'm going to go next to energy. How can you bump up your energy so you can have new perspectives to move beyond that? So one is about taking a bigger view. So when we're like here, we're like, oh my God, there's fires, there's new presidents, all kinds of crazy stuff, there's wars. We forget we're just here. But if we remember, we're also all the ultimate reality experiencing it. And we're just in a time and space. And we're like, oh, if we think, oh, it's just we don't even know how we're alive. And we start getting the gratitude of being alive and that we can be an agent of change in these times. And some people said this stuff has always happened and we've gotten past it. We'll figure it out. But bringing that positive energy is going to shift you out of the fear state, out of the shame, out of the guilt, so you can get momentum to getting the other stuff done. So energy levels are really important, really important. They're essential because at the lower energy levels, you stay stuck. At the higher energy levels, you take baby steps forward. And so celebrate where you're at. So if you're like upset that you don't know what your gift is, that's actually an opportunity. It's cool. I'm at this cool place where I get to discover something new. So lastly, I'm just going to get into real practical steps, finding your passion. Susan just talked a lot about that, so I won't get into that. But one cool thing I talk to a lot of people about is sourcing the future. Imagine all spiritual masters know that all of time is available to us. Imagine the quantum field is right here. Put your hands up and out. Focus on the point in where you found out your truth, and imagine like a lightning bolt came from your older self into your third eye and gave you the codes, and you just get to play them out every day. So that's a great idea. Experiment. You don't always know. You gotta. I know I never imagined I'd be the person I am now, but I went through a lot of experiments and I found out what I liked and I didn't like. Archetypes. Self-awareness is really important. There's different archetypes like the Enneagram, gene keys, human design, wealth dynamics. There's a lot of them, but they're definitely really good. Those are all the ones that I mentioned I played with, and I think they're excellent. And also the 5 personality patterns. And leverage your strengths. What are you really good at? Not only there's the ikigai is what are you good at? What are you passionate? What does the world need? And what a world to pay for? When you nail those 4 things, you'll know what your spiritual rock star thing is. And the last thing is the niche is about mess to message. What have you overcome in your life that you could teach someone else? So those are some practical tips.
Oh, yeah. Those are all great. So that's brilliant the way you organized all that, Jonathan. That's fantastic. I love it. And wow, so much. That's what I tell you about. He's got all this knowledge and wisdom. He's just able to spit out like faster than AI almost. No, I don't know about that fast, but pretty fast. So if you want to know more about any of the things he mentioned, he probably knows more and more about each subject, like in depth. That's what I love about Jonathan. So thank you, and you definitely learn more about the perspective thing if you listen to his interview and take advantage of all these speakers. Their interviews, they're free gifts. They all have free gifts, great gifts. So check them out. All right, let's go to Angel.
All right. I'm going to use this time to talk about when I had my spiritual awakening. And I think for anybody who is newly awakening to their divine gifts, one of the most important things for me was to be in a community of people, be surrounded by people, and to have teachers who were ahead of me on the path. And so for me, that happened initially when I was in yoga. And if I had not had that community around me, one of the things I know for sure I would have done, because at the time I was the national chairperson of my trade association and I had just finished building 51 single family houses, 56 apartments in an office building and an award-winning real estate development. And now all of a sudden I'm seeing angels and my third eye burst open and I'm seeing and I'm feeling and I'm having all of these experiences. And had I not had that community around me, I very likely would have taken myself off to the psychiatrist and put myself into some kind of institution or on some kind of medication. And so that's the first thing I would say is make sure that you surround yourself with people who are, they don't have to be a guru, as Jennifer was saying. We're transcending the age of the guru. However, I do believe that there are authentic spiritual teachers who, when you connect with those authentic spiritual teachers, their interest is not in you elevating them. Their interest is in you empowering yourself through what they are teaching, and for them to stand there as a role model so that you can see yourself in them. Many times when I have people come to me and say XYZ, whatever they say to me, my immediate response is, whatever in me is also in you. Whatever in me is also in you. Otherwise, you couldn't be seeing it. And so don't pedestal me. Look and use me as a reflection. Use me as a mirror. See that this is also in you. And the reason you're seeing it is because it wants to be developed. It wants to be acknowledged. It wants to be able to grow inside you so that you can actually fulfill the reason why you incarnated on the planet. The last thing I want to say is give yourself permission to approach this with beginner's mind. One of my favorite prayers is never let me lose my sense of awe and wonder. And so when you approach having these experiences, whatever the experience is, whether it's the experience of now suddenly you're clairvoyant or suddenly your hands have been turned on and you've got fire coming out of them that's healing people, whatever it is, be willing to allow the awe and wonder and be willing to experiment and be willing to allow your way to be your way. So for me, one of the first things was yoga, and then it was crystals, and then it was sound, and then it was shamanic work, and all of these things came to me. I didn't go looking
Right.
for them. And I just
Right.
said yes.
That's such a key. That's such a key. Yeah. I didn't go looking for energy scanning. It came to me. I really did. I didn't really go. I went looking for it, but it found me too. So it's both in a sense. And yeah, we just open up. So thank you. Thank you for that's all. This is so awesome. Let's go to Jenny next.
So, yeah, just jumping off of several different things that the other speakers have said. As we evolve, these divine, what we're calling divine gifts or superpowers, or in yoga terminology, they call them the siddhis, and they are capacities that are innate to all beings as we evolve. But yoga philosophy is very clear in its warnings about this. So I'm going to take a little bit of a turn and say that it is imperative that as our divine gifts, superpowers, whatever, start to awaken, that we really utilize them with incredible humility, and that we watch for what I call the spiritual ego, which is what has created the culture of gurus who are false. Because, as Angel said, no true guru is ever going to ask you to elevate them. They are going to reflect to you that you are 100% as spiritually beautiful and perfect as they are. And so I don't know that we have outgrown the need for true gurus, but there are incredibly few of them out there. And that is definitely a mark of a true guru, is that it is never about them. It is only about their students' evolution. I would say too that it's not so much about finding or opening our gifts as it is asking the question in any moment, what do I have to give? And so just going back to what I had said in the previous question, showing up to each moment with the willingness to give whatever we have to give in that moment. And the California fires have been mentioned several times. I come from California. I don't live there now, but I have many friends affected. I feel incredibly powerless to help from afar. If I was there, I'd be volunteering. I'd be in the trenches with the animals, with the whatever. I can't do that, but I can pray. I can offer free sessions. I can reach out to people that I know. I'm searching for just the things, the tangible things that I can give right now. And so to me, it's more about asking, what do I have to give in this moment, than what is my big transcendent gift, because I think that can easily become something that is very elusive, and people get very confused about purpose, etc. And yet in every moment we have the tangible opportunity to give in some way. So I'll leave it at that.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Jen. Yeah, it's not always what you think is a transcendent thing, although often can be a transcendent thing, but are very powerful type of thing. So thank you for sharing. That's so true. Such great truth. And yeah, listen, there's people here that are probably affected by what's happening in Los Angeles. So I just want to address that real briefly and just say, I really, lots of prayers, and we're all praying, right, for people there and around the world that are suffering in so many different ways. And at the same time, we can still do our thing, do our own thing, stay in our own lane. We don't all have to fly out there, okay? That's not the point, right? So we just do what we're called to do. Okay, I want to, Tanya, how are we doing with, I'm noticing a lot of the comments, but is there anything, and people are taking it in, is there anything that needs to be addressed that you saw in the comments whatsoever? Any questions or anything?
Jürgen was having a question about something that's going on in his life, and people are answering him. So I don't know that we
Okay,
really
okay,
address
cool.
it with the group, but I think he's getting the
Okay.
answers that he's
Yeah.
looking for. So it's
We
really
want to
good.
get all the juicy stuff in from the speakers on all these rounds. We have to keep
Mhm.
going today. Okay, great, because they all have amazing things to share. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and continue. We have one more question to dive into. This is one of the more, I get really wordy with my questions sometimes, so I went nuts on this one a little bit. Okay, so I'll read it more than once. How do we embody the energy of leadership to lead the way in 2025 to experience true wealth frequencies and soar by trusting our own deeper presence? How do we embody the energy of leadership. If you don't remember anything else, just remember that. How do we embody the energy of leadership to lead the way in 2025 to experience true wealth frequencies and soar by trusting our own deeper presence? This time we're going to have fun just bouncing around to different people as I'm guided. So let's go to Susan.
I knew you were going to come to me. Thank you. There's a few things here. I think one of the major things is to feel where you want to make a difference in the world. And I think Jonathan was saying it's not just, and I think Angel was saying it's not just about you. You are the channel, the catalyst, but actually your intention for humanity is this biggest thing, I think, about being a spiritual leader in 25 and beyond. And I do believe that as we focus on the message for humanity, that message from our hearts, so we all have a story, like Angel was saying about her awakening. I had my awakening as well. And I think every single person has that. And part of that awakening to who you are is your story to help others. And so that part of you, I call it Chiron in your astrological chart, that Chiron part of you is your wounded part, where you can actually share a beautiful healing experience with others, where there is that feeling of a dance together. So first part is really look to humanity. Where can I best serve humanity? Doing it from a place of the source within. So not from the ego mind, which is our thoughts, but dropping down into our heart center and really feeling, where can I share my heart with humanity? And the wealth frequency is always a really interesting one. I've found that once we have this kind of feeling of where we want to go, which changes as we go throughout our mission, where we're setting our intentions, then what often happens as we're just about to go to the next level is pieces come up. And one of the things I think shows up most is our bank balance, things like that. And they show us where we have these frequencies that are not a match to our true mission. And one of the major ones is shame. When we feel a sense of shame, then we don't put ourselves forward. We stay small. We perhaps charge very little for our service because we don't feel worthy of it, or we feel we need to overgive. Okay. And those are the things that I work with people a lot with. And as they're breaking down those emotional walls, then the mission that they've always had within their heart and soul starts to become nearer and nearer. And so it no longer seems like arm's length away. It actually seems really present and viscerally embodied in who they are.
Yes. Oh my goodness, it's so good. We've got to let it in, right? Energetics. We always get in your mind. Yeah, that's a lot harder than just letting it into your energy. So I really appreciate that. That's
And it's
really awesome.
frequency, isn't
Yes,
it, Daniel?
right.
It's frequency. As we're shifting all of these things, our frequency is a match to our heart's desire, which is our mission.
Yes. Awesome. Let's go to Angel next.
All right. I think that the thing I want to say is I like to really define wealth as being more than just money. I believe it's the sum total of all of the resources that we have available to us. I like to use the mnemonic device thief to talk about those resources: our time, our health, our imagination, which is the marriage of the intellect and the intuition, the ecosystem of exchange, which is where the money lives and the exchange happens, and then fun with our fellow friends and family members and fellow travelers on the journey. So for me, leadership is, and trusting our own deeper presence really begins by looking at this full range of the resources that are available to us and discovering and discerning, where are we stealing from ourselves? Where are we engaging in the thief archetype from ourselves? And a lot of times it is in the money area. Sometimes for those of us who are hyper creative, we'll be creating until we're burned out without having any exchange in the marketplace. And so it's very important to also look at the money aspect of things and to look at how we are really valuing what we are here to do. And as somebody who is here to create conscious change on the planet, that is a very large assignment. Large assignments require large sums, generally speaking. And one of the biggest challenges that I see currently in the current system, money is a circulation. Currently, there is a plot where there is a small group of people that have a clot of the actual zeros and ones. If we're going to be practical, zeros and ones, they're all clotted up here. And how do we collectively, as conscious spiritual change agents, move that clot before we have a planetary stroke? How do we do that is by creating the vacuum, by creating within each of us individually enough space to receive and to steward and to flow through us and our businesses exponentially larger amounts of money than any of us have ever imagined. So that's all I have to say on that.
That's a mic drop. Bang. I love it. All right, good one, Angel. I love it. And I love that you shared about wealth being along a continuum of all kinds of things. And that's how I like to look at it too. I've got so much abundance. I have the sense of time to go to the gym today or whatever it is. Like,
And to me, wealth and abundance are two different frequencies. They're two different things. Yeah.
Right. But just, the idea, it's got all these different dimensions and qualities into it. So I love that. Okay, let's go to Jennifer next.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it from where Angel was just playing, and amen to all of that. It really all is all frequency. It's being able to, in a short amount of time, I'm gonna see if I can give this good service. And that is, Angel, absolutely, there is not, the pie is not limited, right? The pie isn't limited. The pie is infinite. There is no pie. There's no pie. Okay. So we don't have to dole out the pie. But those that actually have the capacity or the willingness, I would say, not the capacity, everyone has the capacity, the willingness to actually grow ourselves big enough to include the future of that wealth. What I mean by that is actually going into the future and talking about yourself and feeling yourself. Jonathan talk about this too. Going into that future and seeing yourself, understanding the future potential of any human being. If you came from infinite wisdom, when the moment you were birthed, a star system could have been born. If it was a time-space reality, which it is not, but a star system could have been born. Anything could have been birthed. But in that time, consciousness knew that you would be here for these times of great change. We are so much more vast than the limited thinking of just being a child of our parents. We're a child of the infinite first, and then a child of our parents, not the other way around. Which, if we're a child of that, our natural state is to be able to get to the place where we can experience that level of abundance. And it starts with just opening the door. Last thing, Daniel, that I just wanted to share, and I'm so glad you brought that up, Angel, is that embodiment and trust are opposed a little bit, and that trust can be a very mental game. I'm going to exchange the word trust with know. How can I know? How can I cellularly actually know? That is embodiment. How can I cellularly know? As soon as we go into trust, it becomes a mental game of, do I trust? Don't I trust? Can I trust? All of these things. And when we get to the place of embodiment, what that means is you basically future activate potentials. And then what you do maybe at the end of the day is start to collect evidence for how the and beyond results kept happening to you. And the way to actually, you have to not only have the experience, which we do every day, we just don't acknowledge it, most of us, at least not at the pace that it happens. And then when you start to collect evidence, when we all start to collect evidence for the degree to which we're living in ridiculous overflow, truly already, then what happens is we start to activate ourselves to our knowing. And at some point, just like riding a bike, there's just this tipping point where you just ride it and nobody can instruct you how to do it. You just get it. And that's the
Right.
same thing as the wealth and all those frequencies that we're talking about. It's a cellular knowing rather than a mental trust. Mental trust still lives in the world of survival.
That's great. That's wonderful. I might use the word trust as more of a pointer to something that's not necessarily mental, but I totally get what you're saying. That totally makes sense. So that's a whole nother dimension, a way of being, right? Like coming from that space. So thank you so much. This is the spiritual rock star way, that's for sure. All right. Let's go to Jenny next.
Okay. And I was really thinking about the energy of leadership. To me, it makes me think of managers who in companies, I used to work in the hotel industry, and the managers had to start as housekeepers and sous chefs, and they spent time in all the different ranks as they worked their way up to being in management. And I think that's so important if we're going to truly embody an energy of leadership that isn't a top-down kind of leadership, but that is really meeting and understanding the needs of the people that we may be leading. And I guess I maybe avoid that word a little bit because of the whole kind of the guru discussion that we were on earlier, because it's not so much that I know the right way or I have the right answers. It's I want to be in the trenches with the people who are with me in whatever direction we're moving and understand what they're needing. So it's a moment by moment sort of energy of leadership that I look towards. Understanding what my community needs, I often do through surveys or just questions to clients to understand how best I can serve them. And to me, good leadership is about service. So again, it goes back to that, what is needed in this moment? What do I have to give? How can I serve the person in front of me? It's the I'm not going to quote it exactly right, but the three most important things: the person in front of you, what they need, and this moment in time, right? So we can't get too far beyond that, in my opinion, without getting into the ego mind. And so, of course, the only way to stay in that kind of serviceful leadership is to stay deeply connected to our own heart space, our compassionate nature, and to the willingness to see moment by moment how we need to adapt to what is being asked of us in the moment, rather than having some unchangeable sort of grand vision. I'll leave it there.
Yes, absolutely. No, that's great. Yeah, I love that. Again, if you feel your heart light up, right, with all these speakers, and I'm just so grateful for that. And Jenny, that's just so beautiful that we can be led by that space within in the moment, rather than we've got to figure it all out, which has a place to some degree, figuring things out, but we overdo it here for sure. So thank you. All right, so let's go to Jonathan.
All right, I'm going to break this into 5 areas. So the first thing I talk about, being a mensch. That means doing the right thing for the right reason. So for spiritual rock stars out there seeking wealth, that means don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to be a little bit weird. And I'm hearing everybody on the humility thing. We don't want to go too far. I can do everything, but also not too far on lack of confidence either. If you got some talents that you're good at, we all have a few areas that we're experts in. Feel free to talk about it, especially show your client quotes. I think that's really important to generating wealth, is to own what you're good at, but also it's a gift. Everything's a gift. So find that balance. Another thing I want to talk about, the second point, is about there's only this moment. How can we master this moment? So for me, it's what energies, what's going on right now? Where am I in this stage of getting wealth? Do I need to find my niche? Do I need to find my target audience? Do I got to develop skills? Am I clueless? Do I need to develop marketing tools? Do I need to refine my whatever the gift you're doing? And then what energetics do you want to bring? If you're not sure what you need to do, then bring more curiosity and finding your passion. If you're in a place of where you got to learn to sell, maybe you need more confidence and take more risks. Really figure out where you are specifically. Third one, increasing capacity is always good for everyone. So there's lots of ways to increase capacity. Energy, there's lots of ways to increase your energy: healthy eating, exercise, chi, meditation, biohacking, all kinds of stuff. And then you can also increase your intelligence. Like, where are your blind spots? Like, even asking people, getting feedback from your peers and your audience about where you may be stuck and what aren't you seeing. Be humble in that way. You can never have too much knowledge about how you come across to others. So keep those feedback loops going. And then I really want to talk about what Jennifer was saying was really important. I think if you're too much, the mind's a beautiful thing, but if you're like in continuous loops and thoughts, our defense patterns are part of the mind. And in order to balance the discernment with this powerful intuition, these psychic abilities, I had to learn the hard way that feeling is the key. So learning to feel your feelings. What feelings are you avoiding? And learning to deal with suppressed emotions. What defense patterns are you using to avoid it? And then there's also contextual being would be my fourth point. What's actually going on right now? How can you merge? How do you get non-dual with your audience or what's going on with the world and extract what exactly you need to do? And to think about, a lot of times people tend to see things through one lens, something called reductionism. So instead, understand that each person is, a lot of forces are hitting it. In every situation in the world, it's not like one thing. Yes,
Right.
astrology has a force. Yes, the political thing has a force, but also there's history, lineage wounds, ancestral wounds. There's
Right.
environment. There's the where we are in science. So it's just thinking about all the different forces. And the last one I want to talk about is just community. I think we don't have to do this alone. I think especially me being in Costa Rica, there's a lot of light workers gathering together and forming intentional communities. And so we can start
Yeah.
collaborating, we can mirror each other, we
Right.
can help integration of the tools. So anyways, those are my
Yeah.
thoughts.
Community. Okay, great. Yeah, that's yeah. And wherever we go, we got these pop-up communities, right? Here's a pop-up community for us right here. We just all popped up here and look at this community we have going on here. It's so beautiful, and I'm grateful. And we have time now. This was my goal because we all like dessert. Whatever your dessert is, whether it's a kiwi or whatever you like, but we're gonna go ahead and get into hearing from each speaker now for 3 minutes. Now, if there's anything else I need to be aware of, just let me know, Tanya, before we enter into this. Otherwise, we're going to go right into it. So you get 3 minutes. Now, the thing is, it's like a couple of them, and I will even have to cut you off, even if you're channeling an angel, the highest angel ever. I'm still cut off the angel, okay? If you're going more than 3 minutes. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and do a round of, and you don't have to do that stuff. All you have to do is just share your last thing. The last thing you want to share, just channel through whatever comes through. But if you want to bring a little 3-minute process or light transmission or whatever you do, that's great. All right, so let's go. Are we ready, rock stars? Our speakers, rock stars. Are you all rock stars? Ready? Okay. Nobody's ready to, I want to know. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Who's what? Okay, so who's going to do the light transmissions type of thing? The really wavy type of stuff. I've seen maybe 2 hands. Okay, good. So we're going to keep you guys maybe. Let's go to you first, Angel, actually, because I feel yours is going to be more grounding. So let's start with yours and then we'll go from there.
So my invitation to everyone who's here and who's listening on the recording is to just take a nice, deep, delicious, cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth and in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more nice, deep, delicious, cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you breathe, begin to drop into a space of connection with the earth. Feel the steady beat of the core, the rhythm of the heart of the earth. And open up to allow the nourishment. Allow the life force. Allow the vital, incredible elemental power to rise up your legs, to rise up your chakra column, to fill every cell and molecule of your body with incredible life force, incredible vitality. The feeling that you might feel if you were walking in the jungle in Costa Rica. Now taking a nice deep breath and feeling yourself just full to overflowing with this vital life force energy. Bring your attention now to your star of origin. It may be our sun. It may be a star in some other constellation. It may be a star in some other universe. And just open, allowing the insights, allowing the activations, allowing the codes, allowing the germination of the golden seeds that are already in you. And just noticing as this beautiful star energy starts to shimmer down into your crown, down through your entire chakra system, down into your earth star. You are here planting these seeds in the belly of the earth, in this beautiful, fertile, wonderful, magical earth plane. And begin to feel the realness of your role as a divine channel and as a spiritual rock star now and into the future. Remembering that all of your material requirements are right here, everywhere around you. And remembering that the architecture and the blueprints are really right there, available to you, coming in through insights, innovations, and the ingeniousness of the divine design. And taking one more nice, deep, delicious breath, say to yourself, I am a spiritual rock star. And I am creating a wealthy life for myself, my family, and everyone that I have connection with by design.
So it is.
What is?
So it is. Awesome. All right. Fantastic. As people coming back in, we're going to go ahead and move forward. Let's go to Jenny next.
That's perfect with this intensification of life force energy that Angel invited us to draw in. Let's stay in that inward space with your eyes closed or drawn down. And imagine that you are observing the earth from afar, like the space travelers, the astronauts who go off and send pictures back of our beautiful earth from space. So just get that picture in your mind. We've all seen it in different ways. And just like the pictures that we've seen of the fires, there are these hot spots around the globe of turmoil, war, struggle, natural disaster, suffering. And we can imagine as we look at the earth from space, we see these different hot spots of struggle, enragement, that we are here in this moment as a group today to send a collective energy of calm and peace and healing. So let's imagine in whatever way occurs to your mind that we are wrapping the earth up in a beautiful soft blanket of the energy of love and harmony and peace. And that each and every person, each and every being, animal, human, or otherwise, that needs this energy of calm, peace, love, is feeling our collective intent, our energy infusion that we're sending to the earth for comfort, for healing, for unification. Just take a few breaths, sending that loving energy all around our planet. And bring that loving energy back into yourself, into your own heart, to your own body. Whatever stressors may be present for you personally, give yourself a moment to be wrapped up in that imaginary blanket of loving energy being sent by this intentional group, this intentional community of healers. And feel how much love there actually is on this planet and around this planet, holding us all and supporting us all as we support one another and those who come to us for healing. Just give thanks and gratitude to that energy of love. Peace.
And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. All beautiful, powerful, beautiful stuff. Okay, let's go. Maybe we'll go to Jennifer next. I can't hear you.
All right. So for this, our biologies respond to where we put our attention. And so much like I think the last time I shared about bringing the future into now in our biology, we become a living magnet for that future. So what I'd like to do is future activation in the now with all of us, as inspired by all of you, such that we can talk about, I'm just inspired to say 3 years from now. So as though we're 3 years from now. So if you can take your consciousness, we're already here, but I'm just going to direct it this way anyways. Bring your consciousness behind your eyes. Bring your consciousness behind your eyes. Whether you keep them open or closed, these days I'm practicing with my eyes open so that I'm living the dream. But if your eyes need to be closed, you do you. Imagine that we're 3 years from now. And 3 years from now, everything that's going to happen has happened. And that we have done our best to show up in our presence. And I'm going to talk about 3 years from now as though it's already happened, as an activation. My request from each of you is that you allow yourself to feel this potential, not like it is, not like a vision, not like it's written in stone, more like a future possibility. And we're going to assume that what can happen is even better than what we're going to talk about. Okay, so it's 3 years from now. Just let yourself feel, drop in. It's 3 years from now. I am beyond astounded about who I've become, that I have expanded into a level of presence and wisdom, and the opportunities that have come my way in these last 3 years because of all the contrast have surprised and delighted me. I've noticed that more and more people in the last 3 years have woken up, people I never expected, and my heart is so full. It's so full. It could never have happened without all this contrast. I know for sure within me that I was born for this time. These last 3 years have demonstrated to me how important my becoming was, and all the work that I did up until that time where these last 3 years started mattered a lot. I transcended so much of my lone wolfiness. I became someone who just sought the brilliance of others, attracted the brilliance of others. And then at some point in the last 3 years, the brilliance of others that I needed just showed up like earth angels and other kinds of angels from everywhere. I feel incredibly blessed to have been on this adventure for the last 3 years. Even though some of it was challenging, that challenge caused me to become who would serve for the next 3 years. And I look forward to actually seeing and experiencing who that is. I've been humbled, I've been blessed, and I feel so thrilled by the potentials that have happened because of AI and quantum computers and all of those beautiful things that they've been used to create what we've never been able to imagine. I'm thrilled also, finally, by the generations that are coming up now who are plugged into the world in a whole new way, filled with possibility and wide-eyed. And I'm inspired and activated by their potential, just thrilled and expanded by what I see in their eyes. And so it is.
Oh, it is. Oh, fantastic. That's wonderful. Each offering a wonderful next aspect. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Okay, let's move along, and we're going to go to, if you're ready, Jonathan, we'll go to you next.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm gonna talk about and do an energy bundle. So narrative is really important and being positive and aligning with nature patterns. So this is a technique that I do. It's called an energy bundle and it's really short. So a little bit more interactive than the other one. So I'm gonna ask everyone to keep their eyes open for change on this one. And first, let's all put our hands up and out and get way outside of ourselves. And let's do that exercise I talked about earlier and focus on the future. Imagine the whole quantum field is available to us, and we can all do this. Every soul can do this. And imagine all of us find the place in the field where we are guided to not only live our best life, but also serve in this planetary evolution where we're all here to create heaven on earth, Tikkun Olam, Shambhala, where everybody's abundant and peaceful at once. And let's see like a line of code shooting from your third eye and getting the exact unique codes that you need to fulfill your tiny role. I agree with everyone. There's not going to be gurus. It's going to be just everybody getting on the same page, getting guided using the new tools. And so let's all do that at once and get the codes. And let's just sit here for about 10 seconds while we all receive the stream of codes. All right, now put your hands down like this, but keep them like this a little bit. We're going to say all this energy is now transferred into your left hand and your right hand. I want you to bring in, the left hand is going to represent your soul intelligence, your guidance system, your guides, and all this positive steps. Now I want you to bring in the energies of relaxed confidence. Now that you're guided from beyond, you can relax. It's all going to work out. We just got to take one baby step at a time and each play a small part, and then it'll all come together. So just feel like at the remember time you're really relaxed and confident, like it's done. The higher planes are coming. They're giving us all these spiritual gifts and technological gifts that have been building in all different parts of the world. And now with the internet, everybody's getting them at once, one at a time. And then we're going to blend. We're just going to do the sections we're going to go look at here. We got sourcing from the future, activating our soul intelligence, and then bringing the relaxed confidence back and forth. We're just going to bring these hands closer and closer together. I'm going to count 3, 2, 1. We just put our hands together like in a prayer position. I call this kind of like prayer 7.0. Maybe we imagine we hit a little pulse, a little blunder. So we mixed them up. And great. And we're just going to add one more ingredient to just get it all grounded. We're going to put all this information in our left hand. And then our right hand, we're going to bring in the season of discover transform, because each day we're going to discover what we need to do our little baby step, and we stop getting overwhelmed with all the bigness of it, and we just focus on the now, and we use our energy and our mental intelligence, our spiritual intelligence, and our friends, and we just relax into this process instead of panicking. Things will go way better. So I want you to imagine that, just see yourself every day just relaxing, doing what you need to do, playing your small step, trusting everyone else has got it, trust there's a higher intelligence that's orchestrating all of it. And then just see at the end of the day, like a lot of these other brilliant spiritual rockers said, see a celebratory victory, seeing us like measuring all the great little baby steps. We're celebrating all the time instead of focusing on what went wrong. And we got positive news instead of negative news. And all of us are starting to shine. We're all in peace and multidimensional abundance. And so you get that vision, just get that vision for 5 seconds or so. See yourself celebrating with your friends and your family, and see the news reporting more positive stuff than negative stuff for once. And now let's go back and forth, and we're going to blend the season with celebration and focusing on baby steps with our soul intelligence, and guided from the future back and forth. Start to bring your hands together. 3, 2, 1. And then bring your hands together in a prayer position. And then the last thing I just want to do is for all of us is take this.
Jonathan, could we be done?
This is the last thing we're going to do. We're just going to take this and we're going to place it in our auric grid, and we're just going to place it in there and fuel it up. And now we have it with us at all times. And now I'm done.
Okay, good. We got it. All right, awesome. All right, thank you, Jonathan. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, great. So we're going to go to Susan. We are a little bit past the top of the hour. I don't think anybody minds that was able to stay though. So we're going to go ahead and go to Susan for the close of this. And then I am doing a bonus segment for those if you want to stay on. I'll be doing some energy scan demos if you want them, and a final channel prayer transmission for everybody as well. All right, Susan, go ahead, take it from there.
Beautiful. So if we just all place our hands on our heart. And I want you to breathe in through your nose and hold for as long as you possibly can, and release when you need to. And just breathe in and do that one more time. Breathe in through your nose and then hold your center. Good. And then I want you to imagine that under your feet there is a beautiful earth star, connecting you to Gaia, to Mother Earth, this new beautiful platinum earth that we're creating. Draw your attention up to your heart, up to your crown. And the stars beyond the stars, imagine a beautiful soul star connecting you to the bigger part of you, the source that you are, and bring that light all the way through. And let's invite in our guides and angels, the ascended masters, the beautiful galactic beings that are helping us so much right now. And I want you now just to offer up anything that happens to be in your field, in your heart, any thoughts, known or unknown. As this tone comes through, all of the unwanted emotions are leaving your energy, leaving your heart space, allowing more light to come in and more expansion in your life and for humanity. Take another deep breath. Feel the light and the expansion in your heart. And I want you to imagine that you're sending your heart energy out to humanity. And everybody that needs to feel your heart energy, your frequency, will feel it. And then bring that energy back to you. And hold that love in your heart. And allow that compassion and that light and that frequency to be held within you now as a new imprinted version of you as a spiritual rock star. And so it is.
So it is. Wow. I don't know about other people. I felt this deeper shifting, subtle shifting going on during that process. And that was really good stuff. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Awesome. Okay, guys, I just want to give such thanks to all our speakers that have been here and contributed and have stayed on. That I think some people have stayed on and thought they couldn't stay this late, I bet even. And so I'm just so grateful for all of you that there was so much good that came through. I want to say, especially at the end, too. The end is always the best, right? With all the frequencies coming through for me, anyway. I love that. So thank you so much. Now I am going to, like I said, I'm going to stay on to do a wrap up and demo energy scans if you want to receive me tuning into you, and also doing a channeled prayer for everybody as well. Okay. All right, everybody. So check out all their interviews. All right. You got to check out their interviews. Get their free gifts. Give them the love. You deserve it. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much. Rocket ships, love that. Okay. All right, so we're here still, those that are not leaving us, and I'll go ahead and continue. All right, yeah, just letting people log off if they wanted to. Okay, great. So I already saw some hands going up for some energy scans and stuff. Again, I just want to exclaim some things and talk about some things about the event, just very briefly, then we'll get right into it. But again, I just want to remind you, we've got all these speakers for you to go back and listen to with free gifts and everything. Make sure that you go through all those as best as you're guided, and take advantage of the ones that you want to take advantage of to connect with. Because it's all about connection, being in the energy of being in the good energy and following that. And just wherever that continues to lead is where you want to be. So do that, because we had more interviews come out today. They all have 72-hour replays. So they'll be up for a while. So you still have some time going into the weekend to take advantage of all that and all their spiritual rock star messages. Okay. So I just wanted to remind you of that. And it's been a blast doing all this. So I'm just looking forward now to go ahead and to share some of what I do. I am going to be sharing a preview call of this work, of the energy scanning parts next week. You'll see some emails coming out next week. It's where I'm going to demonstrate the energy scan, and also tell you about a training I have for energy scanning. But today I just want to demonstrate it for a few of you to tune into your energy and see what messages I might have for you overall. So tune into your chakras, your purpose, your gifts, anything that wants to be shared with you will come through. And okay, so I'm going to go to the chat now. Somebody was already saying, yeah, me. Okay, so let's see. I'll take a scan. Oh, yeah, Grace. Okay, so Grace, want to come on and just say hello for a sec?
Hi, Daniel.
Hello, good to have you here. So I'm going to go ahead and get into doing the energy scan. Are you ready to receive?
I am ready to receive.
Awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and do that then. Let's see what comes through. It's always so awesome. Okay, so the first thing I just get is I get this, and it may not be literal, but I just see like playing a piano energy. I just see it's a very, you've got this great joy. Obviously, we've seen it on your face this whole time, but you have this great joy. So I feel you've come to a place where you're able to experience the elevation that you are. You're experiencing that. And so there's this unmovable peace and joy that's within you. Now, discontent, things can stir, but that is still there and you're aware of it. So I really think that's so beautiful to see. And it's not every day I see that. So great name, Grace. Now, if I could look into your chakras, though, I can always find like where some issues may lay, though, as I continue to go through the energies, right? So there's always something going on. So as an access point, certainly through the crown chakra, where I always like to start usually, there's a feeling of some hesitation. I think sometimes we can get in such a contentment that we're just like, yeah, no, I mean, I could. So it's that kind of thing I'm getting with you. And, but I'm content. But there's something that wants to come through, and there's an expansion of opportunity for you to not only receive more of your lightness, but also to share it. That's what I see. So it wants to come through and it wants to help you to feel into more of the energy that you are to experience even more possibilities for yourself and others. Because there may be some part of you that's everything like after maybe striving earlier in your life, it might be like, no, we're good. A little bit of that. So this is more like, wow, as I let this energy come through, there's a huge storm of stuff that could happen. And maybe you're starting to open that up, but it doesn't feel, it just feels hesitant. It's just, yeah, I don't know. So we want to let more of that come through. And then, but you have like really wonderful wisdom to share. I see through the throat chakra. Yeah. So of course you're always first to the party, first to raise your hand, right? That's obvious just through your actions, but yeah, you're gifted at weaving energy too. So you're really able to harmonize things, bring things together. So you're the person to bring things together in so many different ways. And that's a great gift that you have. I don't know what you're on your radar for your life right now or your expression in the world, but you are a conductor of the infinite and you can help people to synergize better. So you'd be great at like relationships type of stuff, for example, even within somebody, but like with people that are having disparate energy, you have a great way to bring people together. So anyway, I just shared things that come through for these demos just for fun and to maybe give you a gift. So yeah, so Grace, any thoughts about what was coming through?
Thank you. I spent 30 years very ill and cured myself of a lot of things. And within the last year, I really have wanted to go forward. I've been pushed forward. Today, I actually cleared my throat with a dolphin light weaver that does sea diving. I'm doing the Dolphin Whale Summit this week. I did that all day before we came on. So I'm still in that energy is what you're picking up on is the frequency that I was in. But I just started working with dolphins, even though they've been around me my whole life. And it's just wonderful. I've already scheduled to go to the Yucatan to learn light weaving with the dolphins. Once I get my vision, I go. And then I'm going to go to Italy after there. And I said, once I do the Equinox Vision Quest, I'll know what I'm going to do next.
Right.
So you're very accurate because I'm thinking, what do I really have to really offer people?
Right.
Myself. Yeah. So you picked up on that.
Yeah, so you have the light weaving as a great way of putting it too for you. That would be your gift. Yeah, because it makes sense with the illness, what I'm seeing then.
Yeah.
Just keep things the way they are. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself is the message I'm hearing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so
Wow.
the truth is you're ready. And now it's just a matter of continue to let it in and then flow with the energy forward. So yeah, that's fantastic.
I help people transition. That's what I've
Right.
done. Is I just helped my mother transition last year and my father-in-law transition on a 12-12 portal this year.
Mm,
Actually. So I
mm,
have that I do, but now I
mm,
want to play with the dolphins.
nice. Okay, wonderful. Thanks for sharing with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good thing. Good thing. All right. I'll check the board if there's some other requests so far. I do believe there's a few. Is it Jorgen? Is that how I pronounce your name?
Yeah, Jürgen.
Jürgen. Jürgen. I should have
Yeah.
known better. Okay. All right. All right.
No
Jürgen.
problem.
All right. Okay. Good to have you here. Let me go ahead and tune in. Let's see what's coming through. All right. So I get you. You got the wizard kind of energy in you. You definitely have the strong analytical part of your being, and can see the bottom line and want to go for the bottom line in the past. But I also see that you are looking at all the different angles and possibilities to things, and it's very interesting for you to see all the possibilities and see what might want to emerge for yourself or others. So you make a great consultant, I'll tell you that. And maybe I don't know what you do, but yeah, I feel that I get like this sense of wanting to come out of the closet, maybe, is a vibe I get from you. You want to come out of the closet maybe with the spiritual like mastery or energy that you have to share that with the world. And probably the sense I get is I want to pass the class almost. Like, like I don't want to blow that though. So I got to keep it, I can't go out too fast kind of thing. So it's always that. It's like we're afraid we're going to mess it up type of thing, or the type of patterns show up for people. Yeah, so I think the matrix of you got to do this, you got to do that. You've moved through some of that for sure. So now you feel like, no, I could do it. So you're in a place in your life where you could, right? You can. You feel like circumstances favor you, but it's still some internal things you're dealing with there. Yeah, your power, you'll tend to suppress that because you've got such a kindness. So if you feel like you're being, you wouldn't want to try to be too pushy or all that is what I'm picking up in your lower power center. So that would mean you'd opt out of something and let someone else needs that seat. Someone else needs a seat. I'll go in the back of the bus. You sit here. You go out of your way. You're more like that type of person. So that, yeah, you've become so selfless. So I would say that you can be very selfless. And I think in terms of helping people with your spiritual gifts, that to your detriment, that because you won't even enter into it because there will be a sense of also, oh my God, it might get entwined with certain energies and become depleted. And so the idea of, so there needs to be a sense of real strength and power that you're standing in to be able to not feel like those things can hook you in, if that makes sense. But yeah, you've learned in past lives and you've learned all these secrets and you're reactivating them this life. And it's time to start playing, even if you play small, to get started, so to speak, like experimenting. The speakers are talking about start experimenting bigger, a little bit more, because you've already done some, and then expand from there more. So that's part of it. Okay, I don't want to go too long. Let me know what you think of what came through.
Absolutely, totally right on that side. I'm the CEO and chairman of several companies or a group of companies. And with my CEO going through where he's going, we started with the energy side and the I am teaching on that side. And it's just really, you're spot on. You're just really spot on. And my vision is to ultimately take it worldwide because there's such a need in it, in particular in the developing world.
Wow. That sounds
Yeah.
amazing. I'm inspired by that. There's so much. I'd love to have an hour conversation. I feel like almost just to hear all about it because it sounds really exciting. But of course, we're not going to do it today. But
Yeah,
I'd
absolutely.
love to chat at some point. So great. Let's see who else. I'm glad it resonated.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was awesome. That resonated. It's always good, always fun. Okay, let's go to Lori then.
Hello.
Hello, Lori. Love your background, of course. It's a
Thank you.
wonderful and a shimmering light. You're the shimmering light. I love it. Okay, I'll go ahead and get started. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so we'll probably do, let's see, I'll do one more maybe after this, if there is one more. Otherwise, I'll go right to the prayer after this one. So just so people give an idea on the time. Part of what I see in your energy is don't see me. So it's funny in a way, but
It's
you
spot
have,
on.
but you got this deep kind of connection. You're nervous, I can feel it. But you got this deep kind of connection with the divine through your crown. It's really a strong connection, and I'm really that's always it's really a remarkable one. And I've done thousands of these, so it's like I really note that in certain things and certain people. Over the third eye, there's that like block, that sense of blockage. Let me be a little more reclusive. I'll do all the work behind the scenes. Oh, that's a vibe it is. And that way I don't have to imposition people. I don't need to ask them for anything. I just do it and it's good things will happen. And so when good things happen, you're like, oh, okay. And like, it's really hilarious. And then the throat chakra ebbs and flows. There's heaviness, but there's also some light energy flowing through. When you're speaking or transmitting light, You flow well with your expression, but this world is crazy. I like how to express from the conditioning. You're like, that seems different. It just feels a little awkward, a little different. And so that's why a lot of times you might find yourself just wanting to be more quiet as a person. Because it's like, I don't know, kind of feeling. Yeah. The heart is amazing too, like the energy that flows in. And then, yeah, you're just so this huge energy, love space for humanity, the world, and beyond. And beautiful. It's just really beautiful. The thing is to receive. This is where I see the challenge for you to receive. Now, people will say, but I'm so content in the energies at one level, right? But then you know, you have your human self that's also saying, no, there's something, and your divine self saying there's something more. There's something else that wants to happen. The thing is, you can be a fast actor on things big time, right? So you'd be like, hey, that looks like a good opportunity. Let me take advantage of it, right? So you're willing to jump in. That is a good thing with your power. But anything close to power over, you're going to totally be like, no way. And that's too much of a guard. You have to be willing to step in your power enough that you would even allow yourself to feel like maybe I have too much power over that. It'd be healthy for you to feel that. I could keep going, but I probably should keep it a little shorter. But Lori, what's your thoughts and feelings about what I did tune into?
Thank you, Daniel, so much. Yeah, you're spot on. It's a work in progress, the receiving thing and being willing to be seen and heard. Way better than I was.
I bet.
How about that? And yeah, it's been a stumbling block for me in my business up to this point of not wanting to be seen and heard. So I've been just sticking to sending emails and that sort of thing. So I'm working on branching out and writing I've been involved in a lot of co-authorship books. But I'm just finishing my first solo book, which I'm very excited about. So I'm getting my voice and my message out there in those ways. But I do know that I need to really step it up on video and whatnot. So yeah, thank you.
But look at you.
Accurate.
I will say, look at you. You're on the video today. So congratulations.
Yes, you're right about that. That's funny.
You're willing to be seen on the physical level more and more too. So that's
yes,
good.
I'm working on it. Yeah. And that's from childhood. So that's
Right.
Didn't happen overnight. So it won't be undone overnight either.
Could be, but yeah, it's not typically what
Could
happens.
be. Yes. I'm open to that happening. Yes. You're right about that.
Right.
Possibilities. Yes. Thank you.
Sure thing. Sure thing. Absolutely. Let's see. Was there anybody else? Otherwise, I'm going to go into a prayer here soon. Just checking everything out here. Yeah, I didn't see anything in the chat or anybody else raising their hand or anything. Okay, so very good. You've got one here. Katerina, are you here for a scan?
Yeah, sure. Let's play.
Okay, let's do it. This is the last one, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, let's see what comes through. You're a cosmic one, eh? I get lots of energy. I want to say maybe you're with Susan or something, but anyway, I see a lot of star energy coming in, and let's see what else I want to say there next. Yeah, very good, very good. Let me check out the root chakra. I keep starting at the top. Maybe we'll do a root chakra one. Well, everything shows like you wanting to be the higher perspective. The root chakra shows that too. I want to be of the elevated, higher perspective and float up higher. I think there is enough of a cord that keeps you in your body, keeps you somewhat grounded, but then there's energy floating up. And so you want to keep that higher ground of awareness, and it's funner there. So yeah, so you're the type of person, somebody would be like, I'm going to try to put you in a bad mood, and they could try all kinds of things, but what happens is most of the time they can't succeed because you're not accessible to them in that way. You're like, yeah, whatever. Okay. But it doesn't mean you don't get hurt. I'm just saying you have an ability with that. Oh, okay, whatever's happening's happening. So you've got a gift. That's a gift. You can't hit a target you can't see. So some of it is like people can't figure you out. It's the vibe I get. Like they're like, we don't really understand about her. What's the deal with her? Because you've got that like alien energy, right? Like the alien brain, like you're wired differently. So you have the instant answers, instant solutions for people. You just know what's what. So you have a knowing kind of potential that's really instant manifestations. Yeah, whatever. Like you have those abilities. Now, does that mean you instant manifest every little thing in your life like perfectly? Of course not. You've got your blocks, you got the heaviness in there too, but you have those capacities that are really interesting. So you could find yourself getting into problem solving, maybe thinking something through. Then you remember eventually that it's not so hard. So yeah, but the sense of getting caught, getting found out for who you are is actually in you, is in my opinion, like from what I see in your energy. So that's why, again, we try to blend in those of us that are extra unique kind of energies. And so that's what I see. That's what I said about you can't hit a target you can't see. So you're like on a cloaking device on your energy. So just try. What can you read me? Let's see. This will be fun. Let's see if you can see through the cloaking device. But not like you're trying to be mean. It's just like you're just for protection. But yeah, I mean, I would say you could cloak all you want. I could still see. But anyway, you've got an ability to take charge and control of things, and because people need that. But you'll wait to see if they actually need it. Okay, let's see if they figure it out on their own. No, okay, all right, let me come in there then. That's how I see you anyway. And yeah, but I think again, doing frequency work to I don't know create miracles and work with the sacred sites and the stars and all this stuff. You see so much things in there. Yeah, so I'll just leave it at that. So what reflections do you have?
All right. The first thing, actually, I'm a pretty massive softie, so I do get hurt when I open up, and
You
that
get
like
hurt.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot. So this is why I'm like in between turning into an evil villain. But then I'm like, no, actually, I want to stay on the good side this time, this reincarnation.
Right.
But
You,
I have
I'm sure you don't show it to people so much though, right? You probably smile and yeah.
I'm the hermit. I don't mingle with
Oh, okay.
anyone.
I
I'm having a problem with that because it's like again, while you can see that I have all these systems and ideas and solutions for people, I also this is the thing. I trigger people with my energy,
Yes,
so they
yes.
don't want my solutions.
Right.
And they don't want to hear me out. And then again, I turn into you don't deserve me and things. So this I'm trying to like figure out my own road because
Right.
I'm getting this inkling that until I have my own like systems figured out and made presentable, then no one will take me seriously. Like at least the people or the people.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're unique, so you can see things that people just don't understand. They can't understand where you're coming from, what you're saying. You're like, yeah, that doesn't resonate. That's what they're gonna say, and then you feel like, but it's so clear to me, right? And yeah,
Spot on, spot on.
right. I think I'm getting the thing about not getting hurt is because I think the protection is up. So I think that's why I'm perceiving that. Oh, okay, like you're protecting yourself so much that you can rise above it. So your emotional body may get triggered, but there's something else that is holding you, and you're like, ultimately, I know I'm more than whatever you're saying. Something inside you clicks. So I think that's what the aspect I was paying. Sometimes in the group, I'm a little slightly off at times,
No,
but
no, it was lovely. Thank you. I loved playing with you. Thank you. It was my first experience.
interesting. So think, okay, great. Let's go ahead and let's do a channel prayer. If you guys want to check out the preview call, if you're like, well, I'd like to learn to do something like that, feel free to come to the preview call next week on Thursday. It'll be at 1 p.m. Central. We'll send out an email to you. And yeah, and so let's go ahead. And from here, let's just do the channel prayer. So if you'll join me, take that nice deep breath then. In through your nose, up through your crown, up through your higher self, up to low light source, energy up into the all, and as you exhale through your mouth, let this energy come back down through your higher self, down through your crown chakra, down through all your chakras, through the body, through your field, down through your feet, down through your root chakra, down to the core of the earth. As I speak these words in the I am for everyone to listen to my voice, I recognize God, love, life, source, spirit is all there is. The infinite power, source, God within. It's all power. It's all intelligence. It's all love. It's all everywhere all the time, manifesting the highest and greatest good as I say yes, that I am the manifestation that I desire. I am the good that I am. I am the good that I want to experience financially in my relationships and my health and whatever. I am that and allow myself to come out of the place of invisibility or negation of who I truly am and say, yes, that I am an infinite being. And as I allow myself to experience the gift that I am, as people start acknowledging me for my gifts, because I've come out of the closet, I've come out of invisibility, I've come forward and I've shared my gifts. I've shared the power of who I am and allowed it not from an egoic place, but from a place of being who I am and transmitting it and uplifting other people into their frequencies of the spiritual rock stars they are and I am. And as I do so, I'm grateful to lead the way in the way I'm meant to, that I stay diligent to my path, that I have incredible transmissions to bring through, healing capacities to bring through. And perhaps as I bring those forward more fully, that people do resonate, people do understand, people are coming to me that are the right ones. And so I'm grateful to say that yes to that. And I'm grateful to say yes, that I am absolutely committed to seeing my way through any personal challenges, any worldly challenges that come up, knowing there are all opportunities, gateways into infinite power, infinite intelligence. And I'm saying yes to moving forward with my higher calling, my higher purpose, my highest gifts. And I know as I do so, as I share more of them and share it fully, I know that I'm just having a great time. That which puts me into that higher state of wholeness, wellness, joy, empowerment. I'm saying yes to today. As I focus on that, the true abundance that lives within me is embodied. And as I embody the abundance and the goodness of who I am, manifestations galore happen in my life with people, money, things, circumstances. They all just fall into place because I'm saying yes to the goodness that I am, of being who I am. And I'm saying yes to the specifics that I desire in my life from a place of lightness, joy, and fulfillment, already in the fulfillment and embodiment of the good that I am. So I'm drawing forth the energy of who I am, circulating that energy, bringing in the people that are meant to be in my midst, that are meant to be associating with, connecting with, helping, serving, sharing. And knowing that from that place, I know that we are gathered here for a purposeful meeting during this time, this time in the earth. And I'm grateful for the contribution that I'm being guided to share in the world from this experience today. And I'm grateful that I'm saying yes to it today. And I'm saying yes fully today. So I do so, I just continue to follow that flow, follow that yes that I feel somewhere in my energy right now. I feel the yes. I feel the yes. And I link that yes with the yes every single day to my highest calling and purpose. That it's all one. I feel it. I listen to it. I move forward from it. And I say yes. So I allow myself this experience and allow myself to experience incredible new opportunities to serve and to share from the light as a spiritual rock star, to thrive from embracing my gifts, from embracing the opportunity to lead the way in 2025 with full abundance, full presence, full wealth, and all, absolutely knowing that I have everything I need right here within me and I'm activating it now. So I say yes to it. I'm received more blessings than ever before right now into my life, and I let it happen, and it's already unfolding now. I am the manifestation of the highest good for me and for all right now. So let it be so. It's already unfolding. I'm whole, I'm well, I'm thriving and prospering as the infinite being I am, embodied in this time as a human being and having a great time with it and being the spiritual rock star I am. So let it be so. I let it be done. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for the blessings I'm already receiving. It is here now. I experience it in its fullness and continue to do. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Fantastic being with you all. Thank you for attending. Thank you, Jonathan, for staying after and taking it in, all in as well. And check out Jonathan, check out the speakers. And I look forward to being with you all soon. Next week, if you choose to join me on the preview call. Look forward to seeing you then. Okay, bye for now, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.